It's Friday afternoon and Shabbat is about to arrive. You look at your kitchen or whatever it may be and you realize that you're missing some really important items for Shabbat. So you go and you figure you can maybe order on Instacart. And so basically you're trying to order on Instacart shortly before Shabbat. So the question is, are you allowed to order it when it will arrive on Shabbat, or when it's going to arrive in what we call Bein Hashmashot, the time between sunset and 3 stars coming out? So I'm going to guide you through the process of ordering on Instacart before Shabbat, when it's going to arrive on Shabbat. And I'm not here to give definitive psak, because you'll see a lot of these things depend on what camp you belong to. And also, it's really to guide you through how to ask the question. So basically, you want to order and you want it to arrive on Shabbat. So first of all, if you live in Manhattan, you're in luck. Why? Because, you're in luck and you're out of luck. You'll see why. You're in luck because usually Instacart in Manhattan can deliver by foot. They go to the store and they just bring it to you. Or they can deliver it also by bike. That's also something that's done. And then even if it's done with a car, often that's done for the convenience of the own shopper, but that's their choice. It's not like you're forcing them to drive a car. So actually ordering in Manhattan, if you hold by the Manhattan Eruv, is easier because they're not really doing a malacha. So if you, let's say, have an order and you want, let's for argument's sake, you want ice cream for dessert, as long as you know that the shopper has enough time to check out of the store before sunset, you can definitely do it. So it's 20 minutes, I don't know exactly what the Instacart timeline is, but let's say it's a half hour before sunset, and you know that the shopper is going to check out before sunset, you're allowed to order. In fact, even if they will check out before the 3 stars are out, even if they're going to check out before 3 stars are out, it's okay, and you can order. And then once they've checked out, they come to your house. They're doing what's called a shvut de shvut. It's a melacha derabanan that they're doing, and telling a non-Jew to do melacha is in and of itself a derabanan. So it's a shvut de shvut bein hashmashot, between the sunset and the 3 stars, in which case it's permitted if it's something that you need. And even so, again, so let's say candlelighting is 4:20, which means sunset's at 4:38, which means you have about 40 or 50 minutes until the 3 stars are out. And so as long as your shopper has enough time to check out from the store with that window of time, it is permitted to order, even if they're going to arrive in your house after 3 stars are out. Why? Because once they've checked out, there's no melacha involved in them delivering it to you. That's one thing. If you do not hold by the Eruv, then you need to make sure that the shopper has enough time to deliver it to your house before sunset. Before sunset. And then if you gave them enough time, if it's a reasonable window of time, even if they end up coming after 3 stars are out, then you can still accept the delivery, even if they arrive on Shabbat. In fact, very importantly, and this question is important to anyone, what are you ordering? Are you ordering ice cream for dessert, or are you ordering challah, wine, and things that are essential for the Shabbat meal? If it's something that's essential for the Shabbat meal, even if it will arrive after 3 stars are out, it is permitted in a case of need. If you really don't have challah, you really don't have grape juice, and this can happen, by the way. Let's say you're driving back from out of town, you're coming back from JFK, and you know you're going to arrive at your house at the very last minute. You're allowed to order on Instacart your challah, your wine, and with that other things, so that it is delivered to your house. And again, even if you don't hold by the Eruv, and even if they arrive after sunset, and according to some, even after 3 stars are out, you're allowed to do it because it's for tzorach mitzvah, it's for your challah, your grape, just your ability to have your Shabbat meal. If you don't hold by the Eruv and you're ordering luxury items such as ice cream or just added herring or whatever it may be, then you are in much more of a problem. You have to make sure that it's possible for it to be delivered before the sun comes down. That is for people who don't hold by the Eruv. If you do not live in Manhattan, this is a bit more complicated. Why? Because in order to do an Instacart delivery, the car, the deliverer, the shopper must use their car, something we assume that is malacha d'oraita. It's a malacha from the Torah. By the way, that might change once electric cars are common, which is very, it's not something we would say it's a malacha d'oraita. And so if you're out of town, if not even out of town, if you're outside of Manhattan where the deliverer must use a car, and it's common that they use a car, in that case, it's a malacha d'oraita, and you need to make sure that they have the window to arrive in your house definitely before 3 stars are out. If you have a need for something, it's challah, it's grape juice, then you have the rule of shvut deshvut b'makom mitzvah, which means you are allowed to tell them to do only a malacha derabanan when there are 3 stars are out, and so otherwise it has to be bein hashmashot, and it has to be before sundown. It has to arrive in your house. So yeah, that is for people out of town. Now there's a more serious problem mentioned actually in this week's Parashat Beshalach, and that is if you live in a place like one of these small towns in New Jersey, or wherever it may be, where the shopper actually is not only bringing it to you in a car, but they're actually coming from one town over. So you live in Teaneck, and they're going to a ShopRite that's in, I don't know my New Jersey geography well enough, but they're going to a ShopRite that's in Newark or something like that, where they're coming from out of the Tchum, then it could be more problematic. But the bottom line is that you can rest assured that Instacart deliveries and making sure a delivery comes to your house is possible. If you live in Manhattan, it's sometimes the easiest. If you live elsewhere, it's also very easy and permitted in case that you need it for your grape juice and challah. And if you need it at a time that is between sunset and 3 stars coming out, you can also be lenient, definitely when it's just 2 melachas derabanan. And if it's not 3 stars out, even if you're in a place where you're ordering by car, if it's things like challah and grape juice, you can do it after 3 stars are out. If it arrives in your house, it's a bit more iffy. But even in that case, there are those who permit, even in a place where he came from outside of the Tchum, there are those who permit using it, and in place of need, you can rely on that. So even if your delivery ends up arriving after 3 stars are out, you can use it. I hope this wasn't too confusing. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment. I'd be happy to answer. Thank you so much. And most importantly, try and plan in advance. We learn in this week's parsha also, besides for Tchum, we learn about V'haya bayom hashishi v'heichinu. You should prepare. Really, Friday is for preparation, but things happen. Sometimes you're in a commute, you're on a flight, there's a storm, whatever it may be of unexpected guests. And for all this, you can be lenient and allow for a delivery to come bein hashmashot, and in many cases, if it's really needed, even after 3 stars are out. Wishing everyone a Shabbat Shalom.